My wife and I hadn't touched in months. I'm just tired, she always said. Then one day, a friend brushed a hair from my face and whispered, I wish you were mine. I should have walked away, but I didn't. When my wife finally reached for me, I pulled away. She looked hurt and asked, why? I simply said, now you know how it feels. My wife and I haven't touched in almost 8 months. I'm not just talking about sex. I mean no hugs, no kisses, not even her brushing past me in the hallway. It was like I became invisible in my own home. Michelle and I have been married 17 years. We live just outside Chicago. We raised 2 kids who are now in college. We both work full-time, me in IT, her in marketing. On paper, everything looked solid. We own a nice home, drive decent cars, have no crazy debt. But for the past 2 years, something's been off. It started with little things. She stopped texting me during the day. Then it was no more, I love you, at bedtime. Then she started falling asleep before I even got into bed. I brought it up more than once. Are we okay? I'd ask. She always said the same thing. I'm just tired. That phrase became a wall. I'm just tired when I asked to go out together. I'm just tired when I tried to kiss her. I'm just tired when I asked her if something was wrong. I tried to be patient. I really did. I figured maybe she was stressed. Her job's demanding. Our oldest kid had a rough first year at college. Maybe perimenopause was hitting. I don't know. I tried to give her space. But it hurt. It felt like I was living with a ghost. Then there was Lisa. Lisa and I met at a local community cleanup day organized by the city. She works for the local library. I helped her carry a broken-down bookshelf to the dumpster. We made a few jokes, laughed a little, and ended up chatting more during breaks. She's divorced, has 1 teenage kid, and lives about 10 minutes from me. We became friends. At first, it was innocent. She'd text me about events, or ask for help with a tech problem. Sometimes we'd grab coffee after the events. Nothing more than that. But the thing is, she noticed me. She actually saw me. She remembered things I said. She'd compliment me on random stuff like how I handled a rude guy at a town hall meeting, or how I fixed her Wi-Fi in 2 minutes flat. I felt wanted, not in a sexual way, just like I mattered. Then one day, after a book fair we both volunteered at, we were packing up. I made some dumb joke about the amount of glitter on one of the posters, and she laughed, then reached out and brushed a piece of hair off my forehead. She looked at me for a second and whispered, I wish you were mine. My stomach dropped. I stood there frozen. I didn't know what to say. I should have walked away. I should have told her no, I'm married. But I didn't. I didn't kiss her. Not then. I just stood there like a deer in headlights. And she smiled, like she already knew I wouldn't stop her if she tried something next time. And she was right. A week later, we kissed in her car outside a Panera. That led to something else. Then more. Over the next 3 months, we were sleeping together at least once a week. Sometimes at her place. Sometimes in her car. I hate myself for it. But I felt alive again. For the first time in what felt like forever, someone wanted me. Someone touched me. Someone made me feel like a man again, not just a piece of furniture in the house. The guilt was always there, though, eating me alive. I'd come home to Michelle, who still barely looked at me, and feel like the worst person in the world. But I also resented her. She hadn't touched me in almost a year. She hadn't acted like she loved me in even longer. I was starving for connection, and she was just absent. Then, one random Thursday night, everything changed. Michelle came home with takeout. She sat down with me, turned off the TV, and said, I think I've been pushing you away. I'm sorry. I didn't know what to say. It was like hearing from a ghost. She reached over, held my hand, and told me she missed me. She wanted to fix things. Said she'd been depressed, overwhelmed, that she hadn't known how bad it had gotten until she realized we hadn't even looked at each other in weeks. I wanted to scream. Not out of anger, but confusion. Where the hell had this version of her been the past year? She leaned in to kiss me. It was soft, slow, familiar, and I froze. My body stiffened. My mind went blank. Then I pulled away. She looked surprised. Hurt. What's wrong? She asked. And without thinking, I said, now you know how it feels. She stared at me like I'd slapped her. Her lips parted like she wanted to say something, but nothing came out. I stood up, walked to the sink, and just stood there. I didn't know what to do. I felt like I was drowning in guilt, shame, anger, sadness. All of it at once. She didn't say another word that night. She went upstairs, shut the door, and left me in the kitchen. Since then, things have been weird. We still live together. We still talk. But there's this quiet tension that sits in the air like smoke. She knows something's wrong. She hasn't said it, but she knows. I haven't seen Lisa in 2 weeks. I haven't told her what's going on. I don't know what I'm doing. Part of me wants to fix things with Michelle. Another part of me doesn't know if I can, or if I should. I don't know where this is going. I just know I'm lost. And I needed to tell someone. After that night, that now you know how it feels night, Michelle started changing fast. I thought she'd shut down or go cold. But instead, she became hyper-attentive. Like, suddenly she was all in. Cooking breakfast before I woke up. Random back rubs. Wearing lingerie. Stuff she hadn't done in years. But it didn't feel right. It felt off. Forced. Like she was playing a role. I didn't respond. I couldn't. I was still sleeping with the guilt of Lisa. Every touch from Michelle felt like a lie. Every kiss made my skin crawl not because of her, but because I wasn't clean. I hadn't confessed. And I couldn't enjoy something that wasn't real anymore. Not when my hands weren't clean. But then the weird stuff started. I noticed Michelle was always on her phone. Not just always like before, but hiding it. Face down. Walking into other rooms. Deleting texts. That sort of thing. One night, she got up around midnight to get water, and I caught a reflection in the hallway mirror. Her, on the phone, whispering. I couldn't hear everything, but I swear to God I heard her say, "He doesn't suspect anything." I stayed quiet. Pretended I was asleep. But inside, I felt like my chest was being ripped open. I didn't want to believe she was doing what I had done. But how could I be shocked if she was? How could I be mad? I set the house on fire and was standing there confused when it started burning. Still, I had to know. So, I checked her tablet. She never used it much, but it synced with her texts. That's when I saw the name, Derek. Derek was her old high school boyfriend. I remembered him from old photos she once showed me years ago. He was the bad boy she used to sneak around with before her parents forced them apart. The guy she used to call her, "What if?" And now he was very much back in the picture. The messages weren't sexual, but they were intimate, deep, emotional. She told him about how lonely she'd felt, how she wanted to feel seen again. She wrote, "I feel like I'm waking up from a coma. And the worst one? It feels like I'm finally breathing again, like I did when I was 17. That one hit me like a bat to the chest. I sat there in the dark with the tablet, staring at her words. She never wrote to me like that. Not in years. I never knew she even thought like that anymore. I didn't cry. I just felt hollow. And the sickest part? I couldn't even be mad. I understood it. Word for word, I understood that craving for someone to pull you out of the gray. The next morning, I didn't say a word. Neither did she. But I could tell something had shifted between us. We were both actors now, performing a marriage. The love was gone. What remained was routine, guilt, fear, and a weird sense of waiting. Like we were both waiting for the other person to make the next move. Then a new twist. Lisa messaged me. She sent me one line. "We need to talk." I met her at a park nearby, the one where we first really talked. She looked nervous. She had a paper in her hand. She handed it to me. It was a sonogram. "She's pregnant." My legs gave out. I sat down hard on the bench. She said she didn't expect anything from me. She just thought I had the right to know. She'd been doing the math for weeks. It had to be me. I couldn't even speak. I told her I needed time. She nodded and left. That was 2 days ago. So now I'm sitting here, writing this, in a marriage that feels like it's crumbling, with a wife who might be emotionally cheating with her high school love, and a woman I was having an affair with carrying what might be my child. I don't know what the next move is. Michelle doesn't know I know about Derek. Lisa doesn't know how much of a mess I am. And I don't know if I'm the worst man alive, or just a broken one who made one too many wrong choices. Every night now, Michelle and I eat dinner in silence. Her phone buzzes. Mine does too. But we both pretend not to hear it. Something is coming. I can feel it. A reckoning, maybe. Something's going to give. I just don't know who's going to break first. I didn't plan to look through her computer. I was actually trying to find our tax documents. I remembered Michelle did them on her laptop last year, and with everything going on, taxes felt like a small piece of normal I could focus on. But when I opened her laptop, I saw a folder on the desktop I hadn't noticed before. It was labeled therapy_notes, nothing suspicious. She's mentioned seeing a therapist once or twice. I figured maybe it was homework from a session or something like that. Curiosity got the better of me. I clicked. Inside were 3 documents, all Word files. One of them was named Letters Never Sent. I opened it. The first line of the first letter stopped my heart. To the man I used to love. It wasn't to Derek. It was to me. Michelle had been writing unsent letters. Pages of them. Some were dated months ago, some as recent as last week. And they weren't angry. They were heartbreaking. In one, she wrote about the night I pulled away from her and said, "Now you know how it feels." She wrote, "I've never felt so gutted in my life. And the worst part is, I deserved it." She admitted she'd shut down emotionally after her dad died last year. Something inside her just went numb. She never meant to hurt me. She thought I'd wait. She believed love could survive silence if the history was strong enough. She had no idea how bad things had gotten for me. But then, it got more complicated. In a letter dated 2 months ago, she wrote, "I saw the messages on his phone. I didn't mean to, but I saw them. Her name was Lisa. I know. I've known. I just didn't want to believe it. She's known. For months." She pretended not to. She cooked me breakfast, rubbed my back, laughed at my jokes, all while knowing I'd been with someone else. It wasn't an act of ignorance. It was strategy. And then the final twist in the file: if this doesn't work, if I can't get him back, I might go through with it. Derek asked if I'd come to Denver. Start fresh. He said he still loved me. Said we could be a family. She's not just texting Derek. She's thinking of leaving. She's planning an escape. I sat back in the chair, completely shaken. I felt like I'd walked into a movie I didn't know I was part of. Everything made sense now: her sudden attention, the affection, the "I miss you" lines. It wasn't just guilt or love. It was a test. A test to see if there was anything left between us worth saving before she walked away for good. And here's the part that makes my stomach turn. If she had just said something before I messed everything up with Lisa, before this hole got so deep, I think I would have fought for us. I really think I would have tried. But now? Now there's a baby on the way with another woman. My wife is halfway out the door, possibly heading to Denver. And I'm sitting in a house that feels like a museum of better days. I haven't told her I read the letters. I haven't told her I know she knows. And she hasn't told me she's thinking of leaving. We're both just waiting, pretending, acting like nothing is happening while everything is crashing underneath. But this charade can't go on forever. Something is going to blow up. I just don't know which bomb will go off first. And I don't know if I'll survive it when it does. It all came out at our son's graduation dinner. I didn't plan it that way. God knows I didn't. We were at a local Italian place in downtown Naperville. Michelle and I had spent the day pretending to be a functioning couple, smiling for photos, clapping during speeches, avoiding each other's eyes. Our son, Nate, looked so proud. He'd made it through college, first in our family. He was glowing. And for one afternoon, I tried to hold it together just for him. Lisa had messaged me that morning. Just 2 words: "Doctor confirmed." I stared at the screen for 5 minutes. Then I turned off my phone. So now I was sitting at this dinner table with Michelle, our 2 kids, her sister and brother-in-law, and her mom. Everyone chatting, laughing, passing bread baskets. And all I could hear in my head was Michelle's voice from that letter: "If this doesn't work, I might go through with it." And I just broke. It started when Michelle made a toast. She stood, held her glass, and said, "To our son, for making us proud, and to family, through all the ups and downs." She looked right at me when she said that last part. And something about her eyes, it wasn't love. It wasn't kindness. It was challenge. Like, "I dare you." So I stood up. I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe I wanted to match her energy. Maybe I was tired of the act. I raised my glass and said, "To family, and to honesty, because pretending only gets you so far." Her sister looked confused. Nate laughed awkwardly. Michelle just stared. Then I dropped it. "I know about Derek. I've read the letters. I know about the plans to leave." Silence. Michelle didn't sit down. She didn't flinch. She just whispered, "You have no room to talk." I kept going. "Lisa's pregnant. It's mine." Her mother gasped. Her sister's husband swore under his breath. Nate looked like someone punched him in the chest. Michelle finally sat down, pale, shaking, but not crying. Our daughter, bless her, whispered, "What the hell is going on?" But no one answered. What followed was a blur. Michelle's mom walked out in tears. Her sister yelled at me. Nate stared at the table. And Michelle? She laughed. A cold, bitter, hollow laugh. She said, "You waited until our son's graduation dinner to drop this?" I said, "You waited until our marriage died before trying to fix it." She stood again and said, We were already dead. You just pulled the plug. And that was it. She grabbed her bag and left. I didn't follow. We haven't spoken directly since that night. She sent a lawyer's card 2 days later. No handwritten note. Just a name, a number, and the words, "We should do this civilly. For the kids." Lisa and I talked. She's keeping the baby. She doesn't expect me to step up in a traditional way. She knows I'm a mess. But she said something that hit hard. You can be in this child's life, but only if you want to be there. Not just present. There. I told her I don't know what I'm capable of yet. I meant it. The kids are mad at both of us. Rightfully so. My daughter isn't answering my texts. Nate said he needed time. I don't blame him. Here's the thing I've learned. Silence is slow poison. We were both hurting, both lonely, both screaming on the inside. But neither of us spoke. We let the distance grow until we were strangers. Then we made choices we can't undo. I wish I had fought sooner. I wish she had opened up. I wish we had been braver. Do I regret Lisa? Yes. And no. She gave me something I needed. But it wasn't love, it was escape. Do I still love Michelle? I think part of me always will. But what we had died long before either of us admitted it. I'm staying in a small apartment in Wheaton now. It's quiet. Too quiet. Some nights I stare at the ceiling and think about that dinner. About how we unraveled in public. About how pain doesn't hide forever. I don't know if I'll ever feel whole again. But maybe that's okay. Maybe being broken just means I'm still human. Still learning. And maybe someday, when the dust settles, I'll find peace in the pieces I'm left with.